We have a pretty powerful image in our first reading tonight. The Israelites are in battle, having been attacked by their enemy. And so God tells Moses to go up on the hill over the battlefield, and he's to stand there with his arms outstretched, with his staff in his hands. And this gesture is really one of prayer. It's actually one that we still use today. So at Mass, the priest holds his hands up at some points when he's praying, as well as when he's giving a blessing. He has his hands raised up as well. So we still use that. This outstretched arm is kind of asking for God's prayers and also protection upon us. And so this is what Moses is doing during the battle. It says, as long as Moses kept his hands raised up, Israel had the better of the fight. But when he let his hands rest, begin to fall down, then their enemy had the better of the fight. And if you think about it, this really relates directly to our lives today as well. Is that when we take the time to pray, our hearts are lifted up, even if our arms aren't. When we take that time and we bring our concerns before God, when we keep focused upon who is the one who has the power to overcome all things, then things go so much better for us, don't they? So there's Moses holding his hands up in prayer as the battle is raging below. Then it says, Moses' hands, however, grew tired. No kidding. Think about trying to hold your hands up there for all day long, from sun up to sunset. That's what he had to do. It would be impossible, right? But isn't that kind of how we act sometimes in the course of our lives, when we think that we have to take care of everything that's going on all by ourselves? When we lose sight of God, when we try to go about all the things we do each day all by ourselves. It's kind of like we're living, trying to keep our hands held up and hold it up there on our own, and it's no wonder that we become tired, that we grow weary sometimes of the things that we have to do, the difficulties in being Christian and following God. Moses couldn't do it on his own, and neither can we. It says that Aaron and Hur were there at his side, and eventually they had to literally hold up his arms through the course of the day so that he kept them up there in prayer. And so that's the same way for us, is that if we engage in life's battles, we should do so together, holding each other up through prayers and other ways. Just imagine being one of the Israelites down there fighting this overwhelming odds against their enemy. And victory could probably have seemed hopeless at times. But yet, from afar, they see there's their leader, Moses, and his arms are outstretched, even though it probably hurts to hold them up. He's interceding on their behalf. It's a sign that God is with them through all those things. And seeing that, you can imagine, wouldn't it lift up your heart to know it's like, yes, we're not alone. We have that support behind us. We can face the next challenge. Well, in our battles today, who is it that we can look to? Do we have somebody standing there on the hill, arms outstretched on our behalf? Well, we do. This image of Moses upon the hill holding up his arms, holding up really, literally, his people going into this battle, is a symbol of another man who would climb a hill, hold up his hands, his arms outstretched, to ensure that our victory would be won. Right there. Jesus Christ. He climbed the Mount of Calvary and stretched out his hands upon the cross in prayer, an offering of his life so that he could defeat the final enemy, sin and death. Jesus dies this way, and he rises again, and he ascends to heaven, so that in heaven he can bring that sacrifice, that prayer on our behalf for all eternity to the Father. And so that, especially when we come here at Mass, at every Mass, we unite ourselves through the Mass to what Jesus has done and what he continues to do in heaven, offering the gift of himself along with each of you to the Father. The sacrifice of the Mass, it continues day and night as we're here on earth in our battles and our struggles that we go through. He doesn't cease to hold us up in this way, especially at Mass. At every single moment, somewhere across this planet, there's a Mass occurring all the time, and we're being united with Jesus in heaven, helping us, holding us in those different battles that we face. The way that St. Padre Pio expressed this, he said that it would be easier for the world to survive without the Son than without the Holy Mass. And Jesus assures us in the Gospel as well that, will God not secure the rights of his chosen ones who call out to him day and night? So if we stand like Moses in our place here on earth and we call upon God, will he be slow to answer us? I tell you, he will see to it that justice is done for them speedily. Of course, Jesus also says that we must have faith in that. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? Knowing that God is there behind us, fighting, interceding for us, for his children, do we have that faith to persevere? Hopefully, when we ask, using the words of the psalm tonight, from whence comes my help? We can respond too with those words, my help is from the Lord who made heaven and earth.